Hi, welcome to everyone's favourite segment, Mailbag, where I open my mail. And you might be able to see there on the shelves, we've actually started to get through it. There's 15 items left on the shelf. Still may not be able to finish them on today's Mailbag, but we're getting close. So let's go for it. This is a last in, first out buffer here, and we've got ones from, I just rubbed crap. I just put some permanent marker on there to get rid of the address, and well, it's sort of rubbed itself onto my mat. Oh, what can I clean it with? Anyway, this one's from I think Jeff, or is it? Yeah, I think so. He's from Redwood City in the United States of America. This is weird. It's got like the attached mail is returned. Check that out. It's got like a return form because they couldn't. Custom form needs signature and date. What the? I don't know. Maybe he put his they sent. I no idea. Anyway, let's crack it open. Don't think I need the knife for this one. So this one just arrived this morning. I just picked it. Oh, is it one of these pain in the ass ones with all the crap falls out? No. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Be very careful ripping these open. It's got all that shredded newspaper crap in it. And Jeff, as it is now the 25th of February, happy Solar New Year. And happy Year of the Goat as well. It is the Year of the Goat. I thought I'd send you some more Yahoo swag. I've included a small t-shirt. I hope it fits better. I've also included a little compact USB hub. I hope it's useful for you. Thank you very much, Jeff. He's obviously having a second suck of the salve. The name is familiar. He's wrapped it up, Oh, purple is so my colour. Look at this. I'm wearing the amp hour swag, by the way, which I'll have to link in down below. And if you don't listen to the amp hour, it is the world's biggest and best electronics a podcast / radio show. And it's more Yahoo swag, purple Yahoo swag. Thank you very much, Jeff. And there's a USB thingy, and little velvet pouch. What is it? Hey, that's weird. There's something. Oh, look, there's a little way. These things are kind of okay until they fail. These retractable USB cords, but there's something so dicky about them that I don't trust them. They're just like, I've occasionally taken these like on holiday and stuff because they like pack away really well, but I really don't trust them. And it's just a little 4-way mini hub. Thanks, Jeff. It's got like that silicon textured velvety feel on it. Ooh. That was all the rage, wasn't it, at one stage? All products to come with that sort of, I don't know, does anyone know exactly what it is? It's like a real velvet feeling silicon. As I said, I'm sure there's a technical term for it. Next up, we have one from Austria, not Australia. Hi to all my Austrian viewers. This is Lucas Schmidt. Thank you very much. Here, open here for dummies like me. Yeah, what does that mean? Open like how? I see like a little finger thing here, so why shouldn't I stick my finger in there? And so like, it says open here. I guess I have to slice it here and then open it like that. There you go. I guess it makes sense if it hasn't been taped. And oh, there we go. It opens. We have a Vata battery, 9 volt. So obviously we have something that needs. There is a note here, but oh, okay. We've got a USB connector. We're going to strip a matrix board, and we've got a heatsink and a 7805 voltage regulator and a 9 volt battery snap, and a schematic and a couple of caps and a schematic for a standard 7805 regulator. What's going on here? I sent you a do-it-yourself pocket phone charger for any 5-watt USB device under an amp. It's using a 7805 voltage regulator's power from 9 volt. Also working on a CAD program written in Small Basic. It's called Dave CAD. Small Basic. I haven't heard of I don't think I've heard of Small Basic before. I actually wrote my own CAD program back in the day. I don't know if I called it Dave CAD. I actually can't remember. This was, oh geez, mid to late 80s, mid 80s. I think I wrote my own CAD program. It wasn't that great, but yeah, I had a shot at it. Before I lost interest in it, realised, well, it was a lot of work. When the first version is ready, he'll send it to you. Thank you very much, Lucas. It's a just a 7805 voltage regulator that just goes on a bit of matrix board. The only problem with this is that it's very inefficient because you're using a linear regulator, and it's going down to 7 volts, which like nominal 9-volt battery, right? So the dropout voltage of a 7805 is going to be around about 2 volts. It actually depends on the very specific type and the load current and all that sort of jazz. But anyway, you know, rough rule of thumb is that the dropout voltage of a 7805 voltage regulator, in case we didn't get the schematic before, everyone's seen the schematic of a 7805 voltage regulator before. Yeah, the input voltage must be greater than 2 volts higher than the output voltage. So the problem with that is that, well, that means the dropout voltage is a nominal 7 volts for the battery. There's 6 cells in here, 6 alkaline cells. So they're 4A cells, by the way. So there's 6 for these alkalines, 6 physical 4A cells. I've taken a battery apart before and showed that. So the dropout voltage is a nominal, 1.6 1.1 volts or thereabouts, 6 volt, 1.15 or something volts per cell, which isn't very low. You want at least 1 volt per cell. Ideally, you want the voltage regulator to go down to 0.8 volts per cell, because that's when you use most of the capacity in your 9-volt battery. So unfortunately, this is a very simple thing. It'll work fine, but yeah, it doesn't regulate when it drops out, so there's nothing that cuts it out. So if you are designing something like this, I'd recommend using a switch mode converter, which then works down to a much lower dropout voltage for your 5 volts, so you can get right down to that almost 0.8 volts, at least 1 volt per cell. So dropout voltage is 6 volts, for example, 1 volt above the 5 volts required output. And any decent switch mode converter is going to do that easily. So yeah, this is incredibly simplistic, but it has limitations. So there you go. Next up, one from John DeRosa. He's from West Dundee. Very apt that I'm using the Crocodile Dundee knife then. From Illinois, I believe it is, in the US. So, look, he's gone. It's one of these pull tab to open things. Don't do it, because it's one of these, look, one of these evil ones, as I said, mentioned before, that's going to have all this recycled bloody paper in it, and it's horrible stuff. Just makes a bloody mess. It's already starting to get across here, so I'm going to have to cut it along here, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's going to make a horrible, no, mess. Maybe I should have. Oh, God, these things should be banned by the UN. They really should. God, do something useful, UN. Ban bloody recycled paper. I don't care that it's recycled, but the fact that it's just all garbage like that, look at that, let's go everywhere. Breathing that crap in. Thank you very much, John, from West Dundee, and it's a Rat Shack. Check it out. Rat Shack, Radio Shack t-shirt. Check it out. Hey, there we go. Established 1921. Awesome. Where did you get that from? Very apt that they're now closed down. So that's a cool retro t-shirt, because they've effectively gone bust. A lot of people said, oh, no, Radio Shack haven't gone bust. They've only gone into bankruptcy, which is not actually, it puts Chapter 11, it's not real bankruptcy. And, they're gone. Gonski. And he was crying in his beer. He went into a Radio Shack store last week. Not Radio Schlock was the premier supplier of electronic bits and bobs. They always just around the corner when you needed them. They did some unique items only carried by them. Last month he built built for Christmas cool translucent box with a myriad of buttons, made lots of sounds and noise to entertain his 3-year-old grandson. We named it his grandson was named Jack, so we named it the Jack Trapaton. Nice. 2 days before Christmas I had to run to Radio Shack. Now it is internet delay or else go on a long drive to a bricks and mortar store in Chicagoland. Heavy sigh. Yes, Radio Shack indeed. Thank you very much, John. He doesn't say where he gets the shirt from. I don't know. I guess you can look it up. I'll try and find a link. Anyone wants a old-fashioned Radio Shack t-shirt, hopefully I'll link it in down below. Next up, we've got one from Michael Kanicki, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hickey from Kanicki. That kind of rings a bell. I think I've done that joke before. So is he having a second suck of the sav? Anyway, he's from Bangor in the US ME. It doesn't ring a bell. Is that Maine? Memphis. Could be Memphis. I'm sorry, there's like 50 bloody US states and I'm not even a Yank, so I'm doing my best to remember all my US states. So it wasn't ingrained in me as a school child, I'm sorry. So, thank you very much, Michael. He's from, he's at FemtoCow. I love the name, so he's FemtoCow on Twitter. I believe, and he's got a Tindy store, which I'll link in down below, and he's sent in some stuff. Lots of stuff. Let's check it out. And first product here, check this out. I haven't seen something like this before. It's a PCB calendar, and yes, you guessed it, it's got some LEDs in there and actually lights up through the PCB. Look at that. And this is FemtoCow. Great name. And you see the cow on the back there. There we go. Brilliant. Let's light her up. And there you go. That's it lit up. Look at that. That's the dim mode and the bright one. I originally hooked up a 5 volt thinking it was a 5 volt adapter. It's not. It's 12 volts, so it didn't do anything. But Michael does have both 5 volt USB and 12 volt versions available. And if you're wondering how it's possible to get that effect, well, if I turn it off here and you have a look on the inside, all the copper's been removed from the back, and of course you can actually shine light, and you can get that through the fiberglass material. But on the front here, he's done inverse copper, so all the text on there is where the copper is eaten away. So it's one big copper ground plane here, and you could probably do this with photo imageable solder mask as well, not one of those inkjet ones. If you removed the copper, you could probably do it that way as well. But copper's going to be a really nice, sharp way to do it. You can see the text on there is just really very nice and sharp. Check that out, because of course you can get awesome resolution on your copper. So yeah. So that's how it's done. It's just done one big ground plane there, and you can still get, so the light kind of, shines through, or it sort of, lights up a little bit. It's not very even here because he's only got like 4 LEDs behind there, so it is a bit spotty. But so you could maybe use a diffuser thing or something like that perhaps, but that works quite well, and it's a rather neat effect. I don't mind that at all. And next up, Michael's got a Kickstarter, or had a Kickstarter, for these manual SMD trays. Look at this, for pick and place. He did meet his funding goal. It was very conservative. It was only like $1,000, and he got a couple of grand for these 3D printed trays. These are, you'll notice that they've got different sizes for different width tapes, and they're designed to put your tape in there and have it fold back under. So if we can pull this, hang on, here we go, we pull this out. So the way it works is you just put your tab in there, you peel back the tape here, of course, and then you just can move it forward with your finger like that, and it exposes the next chip. And then of course you can come along with your pick and place head and then just move it over manually. This is all for manual hand placement, of course, but you can get a reasonable amount of speed with that, so that's, you know, it's not bad. It holds them in you know, a reasonably a tight frame like that. Oops, they just jumped out. Don't lose your resistors on the carpet. Ooh. And it kind of works reasonably well. There's enough tolerance in there for these things not to get stuck, which would be the worry with a 3D printed part like this. It'd be better if they were molded. It'd be better if they were like machined out of metal or something like that, because that'd give them some weight, so you wouldn't have to, because if I just try and do that, you can do it by hand, but I would prefer more friction. Yeah, look, see, I can't actually do that. I've got to hold it down with my fingers and go like that. It's not too bad, but if there was some weight in there, then you wouldn't have to worry about that, or some sort of sticky surface. You could actually stick these down, put some double-sided tape, stick them down to your bench, or something like that, which is a solution for these things. But yeah, that's just neat. It gets the job done. Nice. Anyway, I'll link in the Kickstarter down below. I'm sure he will be selling these after the campaign, because it's already finished. Next up, he's got an ICSP in-circuit serial programming level shifter, and this can, it's got 3.3 volt and 2.7 volt voltage regulators and a tri-state buffer there. So it connects between a 5 volt AVR programmer. It allows you to program devices that run at 3.3 volts or 2.7 volts. Very handy. And here's something I really like. Check this out. Caching with altitude. Yes, I'm into geocaching. For those who've been watching the blog for a long time, you might know that. I used to be big in the geocaching community way back in the day. I don't do it much these days, but this is a geocaching waypoint decoder. Fantastic. Look how he's done the groundspeak symbol there with he's like the custom characters in there like that. That's really quite neat. Anyway, he's just got this little battery powered sensor board, and it's got, as the name implies, an altitude sensor in it. And it's, again, the idea is there's a button over here, so it's saying please press this button over here. So you press it and it says get me higher in 15 minutes. So this thing can be programmed. The goal is you hide it in a cache at like the base of a hill or something like that, or some sort of cliff or something, and then you have to get higher, i.e. you've got to get to the top of the hill, however many meters you actually program, or feet for you Yanks, that you actually program into this thing, and then it will, only if you manage to get to the top of the hill, will it sense that, and then actually give you the coordinates for the next cache or the next waypoint or whatever. So here we go. If we hit the button again, it shows that it's already done 4 feet. He's actually programmed it, so hopefully I can get it here in the lab. But it's got 29 feet to go, and if I lift it up, you will see that it will actually change. Well, yeah, it kind of does. It's not hugely accurate just based on altitude here, but I can probably cheat this thing just by blowing on it. So here we go. Try this. There we go. I don't know where the sensor is, but so we can actually cheat it, and as soon as we hit that goal of a feet, I could maybe go to the lift here and actually achieve that. So I might do that. I might start at the bottom of the lift and come back. All right, here we go. I'm in the lift, and we have. Let's go. We're climbing. Ta-da! Up we go. Come on, 10 feet left. You can do it. Bingo! There's our coordinates, you bloody beauty. And here we go, we've got the magic coordinates, and I checked, and it's smack bang in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Aha! That's where MH370 is. It's got to be bang on. So there you go, I really like that. The altitude geocache, that's really quite novel. Well done. That looks like it's got a silver board. There we go. It's got not a gold plate. It's got a silver-plated board. There's the tiny little pressure sensor down in there. The dead giveaway is the tiny little hole in there. But that works really well, and that's really novel. Michael's going to make these available for sale, but he's only going to limit it to one per country or one per area or something like that. It's just so it doesn't get saturated. So if you're a geocacher, and I highly recommend if you're not, you should give it a go. It's awesome fun. Yeah, one of these waypoint decoders, fantastic. I used to design my own waypoint decoders back in the day. Oh, geez, I'm talking, yep, 2002, something like that. Yeah, long time ago in a galaxy, far, far away. Next up, one from Joseph Liptak. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. And the state, suburb area where he's from, Chemianska Nova Vez. I have no idea. It's from Slovakia. Hi to all my Slovakian viewers. Thank you very much. Joseph, if that's even correct, it's probably not. Jeez. Is there anyone worse than pronunciations than me? I don't think so. I think I take great pride in the fact that I completely suck at it. So here we go. We got a I'm sure it's not a Gigabyte 8400 GS video card. Is it a video card? Yeah. Anyway, I don't think it is. Hey, he's a PhD student from the Technical University of Kosice in Slovakia, and he loves the show, and he'd like to contribute something to the. Oh. I prepared for you a collection of old electronics parts, mainly from the producer Tesla. Tesla? As in cars? I don't think so. I think we got some old school. And Joseph has sent in a whole bunch of weird and wonderful stuff from, like, these aren't Western components, these are the East, and of course they had to manufacture their own components, you know, back in the Cold War days and all the rest of it, and some really old school stuff. We've seen similar things to this on the blog before. We've got a, just a multi-ganged rotary switch that would have been used in, you know, a scope or something like that. Neat. We've got ourselves a thumb wheel switch. They made all their own stuff, and this is interesting. This is a quartz crystal, 100 kilohertz. Look at that. That's a real interesting beast. Yeah, Tesla. Look at that. Tesla brand, 100 kilohertz crystal. What is that, like a hand blowing tube? And then you got hybrids like this analog to digital converter block. It's all fully potted. Can't get, oh, is it? It's a baseboard. Yeah, it'd be like a potted block or something like that. Very interesting. No idea what that's from. We've got some strain gauges. Might have a look at that. Some Cermet trimmers and a Tesla branded 8255. There you go. They actually did their own 8255. Unbelievable. Wow, check out that high voltage precision capacitor, 100,000 puff. Sorry, this is how there was none of this nanofarad rubbish back in the day. It was either microfarads or puff, picofarads. So yeah, they would do like 100,000 picofarads there, or 0.1 mic. They'd sometimes market 0.5%. That's pretty darn impressive. 250 volts, and look, it's all just open wound like that. Unbelievable. Look, that is terrific. Wow. They had to make all their own components, even the metallized resistors, the chips, the whole works. Here we go. We've got a strain gauge, and it's a rather unusual physical construction. It's on some sort of card. Whether or not it actually, you know, you can peel it off and then stick it onto your own thing, or whether or not you put the card, you sort of attach the card to the thing you want to do. Anyway, this would detect strain. So, haven't seen one of that physical construction before, with just those bare wires going across. It looks like there's got 2 wires on each one going to each contact. That's really, really unusual looking strain gauge. I built many a strain gauge amp back in the day. Wow, look at this. The old data sheet for it. Unbelievable. 119.1 ohms. There we go. At a mean current of 1 milliamp. There we go. It's the strain gauge not embedded and not pasted on. Terrific. Anyone can translate? 1977 vintage. Yeah, bang in the middle of the Cold War. There we go. There's a bit of a close-up on there. There we are. That's what's going on. These are like, looks like maybe 2 separate ones with the leads attached like that. So yeah, you could just maybe peel it off and paste it on the thing that you wanted to measure the strain on. That's how these things usually worked. Let's see if it still measures 119 ohms. I haven't zeroed this puppy out. Yeah, look at that. Pretty close to bang on. Awesome. So yes, as I said, you'd peel that off and you would paste it onto the, the piece of metal or whatever it was that you wanted to measure the strain or the flexion of the actual product itself. And then you would, because this actual resistance in here matters, because it will change based on when this thing flexes like that. Even the tiniest little flex in there can cause the resistance to change, and you'd put that in a Wheatstone bridge configuration circuit with a very high stability precision voltage reference and some other high stability resistors in there. You couldn't just use junky ones. Strain gauges are very precise type things, and then you'd have a differential amp, a really highly stable, high precision differential amp in there, and you could actually get the voltage difference out when you even, like that would be a huge amount of flex. I mean, these things are designed to measure minute amount of flex in whatever material that you're actually trying to measure. Next up, one from Sebastian Johansson from Alversheim in Sweden. Hi to all my Swedish viewers. There are quite a number of them. Let's have a look. It's an envelope, so I don't think there's anything hard in there. Usually people like slip in a board or something. Aha, there we go. Ooh. Oh, okay. I've got a couple of little modules in there. Chinese modules. Look at that. For those who can read their Chinese. I don't reckon, doesn't ring a bell. SCC, I think we've got some RF type modules. Awesome. And, dude, what did you do to yourself? Looks like he's broken his arm in some sort of hacking accident, perhaps. After falling went ice skating. That'll teach you to do that non-nerdy stuff, won't it? I'm now stuck with my arm in a cast for a month, been getting lots of things done, including breaking down 3 printers and catching up on 2 months of EEVblog. Jeez. I'm at the moment working on open source hardware, high precision CNC at the young age of 17. Brilliant. He sent in 2 Bluetooth soundboard things, including the datasheet, one with the rotated main IC, 2 NFC stickers. It might not be much, but it's what I have at home right now, the 19th of January, written with one hand. Sebastian, awesome, thank you very much. Always love you, never know when you need an addendum. Always save your docs, right? Working on my own EDA as well, really? Another person working on their own CAD package, awesome. So, we'll take a quick squiz at those. And Sebastian has sent in these cool little Bluetooth modules. This is the BT6145. If I can link in that Chinese data sheet, I will. Nothing on the reverse side there, but you can see the antenna they've got here. And these castellations on the side, these half-moon castellations they're called on this board, so you can like surface mount these things onto your board. So they're a really neat way to do modules like that. That's a really thin board. That's only like 0.8 millimeters or so, and they've rotated the chip like that to fit it on. That's a common way to route out signals like this on a height constrained board, because if you put the chip square like on this other one, for example, see how it's hard to route out the traces from the pins. You've got no height left on your board. You can't do it. Whereas if you rotate your chip 45 degrees like this, look, you can route out all of your signals from your quad flat pack or your QFN or whatever package you've got like that. So that's just a common layout technique in the industry for size constrained boards. But you also see it on like big video boards, like a big PC board that you plug in and things like that. You'll have the big main chip on an angle like that. No, it's not to help the electrons all pool down in the bottom or something like that. It's just for routing. It just sometimes makes for more efficient routing. So cool, I'll link that one in down below. And this is a different one. This is the SCR 8000 module. It's a 2012 vintage, and it's not as nice as the other one. Doesn't look like as nicely integrated. Similar sort of antenna there for this thing. Of course, the zigzags on there to get the wavelength they need in the board size. And once again, we've got the castellations on there, but they've combined like the half moon ones here with the square ones. I'm not entirely sure why they've done that. That's a bit strange, but anyway, each to their own. So thank you very much, Sebastian. We might be able to use these Bluetooth modules in a project. Hope your arm gets better, mate. Next up, one from Michael Castiglia. He's from Jupiter in Florida. I never heard of Jupiter. Sounds good. Sounds far away. Oh, it is Florida. It's a 15-hour flight. No, more than that. Jeez, it's 15 just to get to bloody LA. Then you've got to fly across the... 15 hours to get across the ditch, and then what is it, another 5, 6 maybe to get all the way to Florida? Anyway, here's an example why you don't send whatever it is in here in just paper envelopes like that. It's going to rip. I'm surprised it made it here at all, whatever it is. And yeah, it made it in pieces. It got completely and utterly shredded. So it looks like it was a 7-segment display module, and now it's just, well, yeah, toast. A crusty old single-sided job. So what does Michael have to say for himself? He's been watching your videos for a while. He's 11. Awesome. Well, there you go. First lesson learned at 10 to 11 years of age, not to send stuff like this in paper envelopes, because the envelopes have to go through automated, if they're envelope, they go through automated sorting machines, which then bend around like this, and they just, everything just gets crunched. So, yeah, not good. Do I have any recommendations? Interested in learning about electronics, do I have any recommendations for him there in America? I'm glad you asked. Get yourself an oscilloscope if you don't have any. Try and beg, borrow, steal an entry-level scope. There's been a lot of talk about this recently. I did this video ages ago. It was years ago. It was a drive time rant about buy an analog oscilloscope, please. I might have to link it in down below if you haven't seen it. A lot of people took that out of context and think that every beginner should have an analog scope, and that analog scopes are better, blah, blah, blah. And it's, yeah, no. An analog scope, a 20 megahertz dual channel analog scope, or CRO as we call them here in Australia, cathode ray oscilloscope, is better than one of those DSO quad nano things. Hang on. Yeah, it's better than one of these things. Actually, that's a quad. That's a DSO quad, which is more expensive than the nano. It's a 4-channel thing? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's better than one of these pocket toy oscilloscopes. Having a real bench scope, there's no comparison. A dual channel 20 megahertz analog scope, infinitely more usable than one of these things. Sure, the analog scope's not single shot. You can't do single shot capture, but apart from that, infinitely more valuable learning tool. But apart from that, you should just get yourself a cheap DSO. But if you can score for free or for like $50 or something, or less, a dual channel analog scope, definitely get one. The best learning tool possible. If you don't have a scope, should have rested him. Maybe he's got one. I don't know. Subscribe to my channel to help me out. Thank you very much. Every viewer counts. It's the way that I grew this from nothing to where I am now, which is like 15,000 subscribers. I haven't looked lately, but it's well over 200. I don't, of course, get everybody watching that. I might have, over 200,000 subscribers. Only about maybe 50,000 on average watch a particular episode, for example. Depends on what it is, but that's a very typical YouTube ratio. So I'm actually doing reasonably well in that respect. So, to have like a quarter of your viewers watch, of your subscribers watch every time, that's generally you're doing pretty good as a YouTuber. Especially for a general purpose show like I do. It's not very specific. You're more niche videos where they do exactly the same type of video each and every time. They'll have a higher ratio of subscribers to viewers. He included the 7-segment time clock that I might use for a later episode. Don't think so. Thanks anyway. I appreciate the thought. He's only taken apart an old Motorola Wi-Fi router, a gaming system, and he's into Raspberry Pi and all that jazz. There's nothing wrong with being in a Raspberry Pi, but it's not electronics as such. It's embedded programming. So, you know, it's good that it gets you into electronics, but now that you're into electronics, you're doing teardowns, you need some breadboards and parts. This is, the advice. I got stuck on the crow thing there. I got ranting on about the oscilloscope thing. And a breadboard, the way to go. Veriboard, the matrix board we saw before in the one of the earlier ones. Just build up stuff like that. Build up, fail, the best way to learn. So I hope your next project doesn't work, and I mean that very sincerely, because it is by far the best way to learn. You don't learn anything if you just build it up and it works first go. Or you don't learn nearly as much. If your circuit doesn't work, you use that oscilloscope, you beg, borrowed, or stole, and you use that to troubleshoot your circuit. You figure out how it all works, you know, step by step, go through, figure out each circuit element and what it's doing, a methodical process like that, and eventually find the problem, and you'll learn a ton. So yes, hope your project doesn't work at a tender 11 years of age. Awesome. Oh, and because you're in the US, you have access to tons of surplus stores and things like that. If you have one in your city, you probably have somewhere. Go jump on the EEVblog forum and ask for someone that's in your city. I'm not sure if your parents will let you go out at 11. They did when I was a boy. Jeez, I could just wander anywhere I wanted. They didn't care. I was like, there's a name for that now, isn't it? Like free-range children or something like that. I don't know. Parents are paranoid these days. But anyway, if they let you go there, or even get them to take you there, get some awesome surplus stuff. And there's a whole bunch of cheap test gear in the US as well on eBay and Craigslist and all the other stuff. So you can get a very well-equipped lab for bugger all money if you're patient. And 11, you can afford to be patient. And I was just thinking, putting this in the envelope like that teaches you that you can't put things through the mail, but it teaches you some, like, you know, fundamental, like, you know, physics of bending moments and all that sort of stuff. You can really, you learn a lot. There's lots of mechanical engineering that goes into things surviving in the mail, and packaging and shock and vibration and you know, all sorts of stuff like that. So, you know, the angles of shocks and all sorts of stuff. So, you know, you're humble, sticking this in an envelope, you probably learn a lot more subtly than you might think. Mechanical engineering. It's applicable to electronics as well. Those pesky fundamental laws of physics, or in cases like this, at the very macroscopic level. And we have a commercial one. You can tell it's in a UPS box. No one in their right mind would personally send via UPS. It's too darn expensive. So this one actually comes from Gangan Luthra. He's from Cypress Semiconductor. So thank you very much, Gantham. Let's check out what Cypress has sent. Probably some sort of demo kit or something like that. I'm not sure if they clued me up. I can't remember. It's actually been sitting here for a while. Sorry about that. We have a note, and looks like a, hey, all right, I'm pleased to send you an evaluation unit for the brand new Bluetooth low energy Pioneer kit. Hey, that could be interesting. I don't have any development kits for Bluetooth low energy, I don't think. So, Bluetooth low energy made easy, really. Industry's best and simplest cap sense as well, really. Most integrated Bluetooth low energy solution, really. Bold claims on there, so yeah, let's have a squiz. Sealed for our protection. And yeah, anti-static bullshit, that's gone. Okay, oh, look at that, look at that. Hey, some nice stuff in there. Yeah, Now this thing looks rather exciting. It's Bluetooth Low Energy Pioneer Kit, and it's only $50 on the Cypress website. That's a bargain for what you get. You can get it at Mouser and DigiKey. Check the DigiKey price. They're price gouging. It's like $70 on there, but yeah, it's available, I guess, if you're ordering from DigiKey, and you get a lot for your $50. I mean, check that out. We've got a capacitive touch sense thing. So once again, if you want to play around with capacitive touch sense, that's probably not a bad way to do it. And then looks like we've got the separate Bluetooth low energy module. There we go. Similar to what we just saw. There's our Bluetooth antenna up there, but it's USB. It's got a Cypress ARM microcontroller, and then this looks like a programming board. No, it's a Bluetooth low energy module. There's the antenna again. Check it out. We've got ourselves the program. Do we get the programming cable with that? I'm not sure. We've got ourselves some big jumpers. Some big ass jumpers to go on here. Here we go. That almost looks Arduino compatible. Actually, I think it might be. I think it's Arduino Shield compatible by the looks of it. There's a dual row one down here, but yeah, but I'd be surprised if that, yeah, it looks, I think it's Shield compatible, but it uses the ARM, it doesn't use the Atmel one. So, and we've got another module, so you get all these Bluetooth low energy modules plus that for $50. Awesome. Oh, you even get a free battery. And just to show how ultra low power this thing is, look at that, coin cell battery, but let's look on the bottom here. I like this. Look, they've done all the silkscreen labeling there of the, there we go, P1.7, D3. So they've labeled all the pins. That's really very nice. I like that, but let's, anyway, I won't be playing around with this in this video, but I can't resist popping in the battery there and actually seeing if it does something. Is there a button? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to have to do a separate video playing around with Bluetooth low energy. Oh, there we go. We've got some buttons. What's going on? There's a proximity sensor as well. Look, everything's labeled on here. Let's go through it. So there's a Cypress app called SciSmart, and I think my Nexus phone is BLE compatible. Anyway, BLE devices. Here's an unknown device, but it doesn't connect to it, so I'm not sure what the go is, whether or not I've actually got this board running, because there's no LED on it to indicate whether or not the application's even preloaded on here, whether or not it'll talk to that. Oh, I've got no idea. I might not have time to play with this thing here. I need to, it's Tuesday now. I need to finish editing and upload this video, so yeah, I might have to leave it all for a separate video. Anyway, it's supposed to work, and you're supposed to be able to like actually connect to your phone and use and see the cap sense and update in, and the proximity sensor here, so you can have like a field a proximity metal detector and things like that. So yeah, I'm sure it does work eventually. So yeah, I'm not sure if it actually comes pre-programmed on the board. It shows like the IDE and things like that, which, you know, you'd have to download it and install, and the example apps for the CapSense proximity slider and things like that. There's the Prox one, and then there's the capacitive slider and the app working. But yeah, I don't know. It requires more time and effort to play with it. Anyway, it's a 32-bit 48 megahertz ARM Cortex M0 CPU on there, 256K flash, 32K SRAM. That's not too shabby. And the Bluetooth low energy, of course, it's got an integrated balun. It's got a 12-bit 1 meg sample per second ADC. That's not too shabby either. Because this is the Cypress PSoC devices, they've got the programmable analog stuff as well, which is really quite novel. So you get the 4 op amps and with 2 low power comparators as well, and they work in sleep mode. They're independent of the micro, and it's got programmable digital blocks and LCD segment control. There's no LCD on here, unfortunately. That's a bit of a bummer, but anyway, and CapSense and all the rest of the jazz. But so there you go. Looks like a very nice kit. Bluetooth low energy development kit for your 50 bucks. Check it out. Linked in down below. No, hold on to your hat, folks. All of a sudden, it's decided... Ah, it was. I swear, a second ago, this LED here was flashing, and cap sense slider and LED, and it was... I don't know what I did. I don't know. I was just getting ready to, like, measure the battery voltage, and all of a sudden, this LED started flashing. So, oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Yay, we're in. Look at this, swipe across. Oh, I missed it. Cap sense slider. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Yeah, look, it works. There we go. So we're connected Bluetooth low energy. Device here, and my phone is obviously Bluetooth low energy compatible. It's got they've got iPhone apps and Android. This is Android, of course. So that's really quite neat. RGB raw view. Oh, look, there we go. We can change the color of our RGB LED there. Check that out. Make it green. Look at that. That's quite nice. You can see like the different dye in there. They're in different corners of the chip. That's great. Hey, and this worked out of the box. I don't know why it like took forever to boot or whatever. I'm not sure. GATDB. I got no idea what that is. But yeah, hey, it works. That's neat. Check it out for your 50 bucks. Oh, bargain. And we've got to have one from the old dart, don't we? This is from Advent Controls. They've been on here before, so they're having a second suck of the sav. And let's see what's in here. Obviously, one of their products, I would imagine. Hey, got some nice postcards. They're from... There we go. Don't show postcards all the time. We've got Liverpool. We've got wherever that is. It's the K2 Gallery. That's in Liverpool as well. They're all in Liverpool. Oh, look at that. I think I drove through Liverpool once. I don't think I stayed. So that's neat. I like that. Nice town, Liverpool, I'm sure. Hi Dave, I thought your mailbag section needed a real mailbag, so being a Liverpoolian, people from Liverpool, UK, like the 60s pop band, the Beatles, I'm half inclined, I'm half-inched one for you, I half-inched one for you from Royal Mail. Yes, the hilarious joke in the UK is that Scousers like me like stealing things, especially car hubcaps. Liverpool has a reputation for, you know, if you stop your car at the set of lights, they jack it up and steal your wheels. Is that what it is? I'm hoping for my penance they send me over to Australia like they did in the old days. Still they do that, right? No, maybe. If not, we have two cathedrals in Liverpool. Paddy's Wigham. Oh, I don't know which one Paddy's Wigham is. Can I guess which one? Paddy's Wigham. I don't know. That looks too formal for Paddy's Wigham. I'm going to go that one. That looks like Paddy's Wigham. Am I wrong? Yeah, probably. Anyway, one's Anglican and one's Metropolitan Cathedral. Yeah, it's all imaginary fiction anyway, but yeah, good on them. He snagged it from Royal Mail. Look at this. Awesome. Haven't done this in a while. Look at this. Maximum load, 11 kilos. Well, I weigh a bit more than 11 kilos, and that's a Royal Mail satchel. Daddy, look. Don't do this at home, kids. I got in trouble for that last time. Woo, look, I'm a Royal Mail satchel. Woo! We have a genuine product from the Lone Pine Mall. I love it. Woohoo! Gonna get back in time. Don't bet the future on the roll of the dice. Better remember, lightning never strikes twice. All I wanted to do. Sorry, I'll spare you my singing. This is awesome. Wow. It's awesome. Check it out. Just what I need for the DeLorean. Beauty. And it looks like Michael actually designed and built, and he actually sells this thing. It's a replica, of course, speedometer, digital speedo for your DeLorean, and it's actually more complicated than it actually looks. It's a GPS, it's got a GPS sensor in it, apparently, and all sorts of modes to allow you to set it up. There's demo display modes, and look, you can set all these different, you can go into setup modes. It's got capacitive sense buttons under here, and it's really gone to a lot of effort. Power management, speed limit, warning alarms, touch switch sensitivity, and all sorts of stuff. And presumably, it looks like there's a GPS built-in. Awesome. Wow, check it out inside. Look at that. There's a bit of, it's going to a bit of effort here. And is that like a off-the-shelf module with the relay and whatnot? Anyway, there's our GPS receiver down there. We've got ourselves a little surface mount GPS antenna. Geez, he's really... And he's even written on there, 0.8mm thickness board. Is that an instruction to the PCB house to make sure they give him who's Rip? Adam. Oh, sorry, Adam. He's got a bit of hot snot to hold his leads in place, but generally that is, yeah, that is quite neat. There's the CapSense. It looks like that's not a spacer. I reckon he's using that as his CapSense terminal. There we go, to actually touch that. So, yeah, I think that's what it is. And there's another one over here, so it's got to be, because there's no... Oh, yeah, they're actually screw holes. So he's mounted those on. So he actually has used them as physical mounts, but he's also got them, I reckon, electrically connected as CapSense terminals, dual use. That's really quite clever. Anyway, I don't have the time or the GPS reception to play around with this. Now the video's gone on long enough, but if you want one of these puppies, I'll link it in down below. Thank you very much, Michael. This is awesome. I'm going to have a good play around with this sucker. You bet. Maybe it can go on the Sinclair C5. And he's included a scrap auto dialer. It doesn't work. This is a GSM Auto Dialer, so it's got a SIM module here. This is for one of the, like an alarm system, be fairly generic. You can actually hook the thing up, and yes, it is scrap. It's made in the old Dart. There we go. So thank you very much, Michael. I won't go through the details of that, but yeah, it's a fairly generic thing. You can just hook it up to presumably any alarm system, and then if there's an alarm, it can dial based on your SIM module. You just put in one of those prepaid SIM modules, and Bob's your uncle. It dials home, and the guards with the shotguns and the big nasty dogs come around, hopefully in time. Thanks, Michael.